So yeah, thank you everybody for joining us. Super excited to have Ashley Binns presenting on data-driven decisions in childcare and how you can really optimize and grow your childcare program with the right data. So without further ado, Ashley, thank you so much for being here and take it away.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much, Benny, for having me. So yeah, today, guys, we're going to talk about numbers, and I will get a little bit into about myself if you're new to me. But running a childcare business and numbers always kind of scared me until I actually started like looking at the numbers and understanding that numbers do tell a story. Data in your childcare business is basically going to tell you, it's going to give you a story of the past. It's going to give you a story of the present and also the future. So we're going to dive into numbers, but I'm gonna make the scary part of diving into your data into your childcare business really easy and simple. So let's hop right in. And so the goal of this training, I'm going to move this over here. The goal of this training is to really equip you guys, childcare business owners and directors, with the knowledge and tools to make data-driven decisions that optimize your operations. And optimize is the key word that I want you to kind of really think about today, okay? Because when you are running your childcare business, especially when we talk about operations, the more that your operations are optimized, the better that you're going to be able to provide quality services to children and families in your area. So, now, why is this important to actually have your decision making to be based off of data? Is that it's because it does highlight the importance of strategies in optimizing your childcare management. Efficient use of data enhances financial stability. It's going to improve your marketing effectiveness, boosts those customer satisfaction, streamline operations, and supports a better work-life balance for childcare providers. And work-life balance, you guys, if you're new to me, you're going to learn really quick that I am huge on work-life balance as a childcare business owner and director. So, what we're going to go over today, I'm going to actually give you key data points. I'm going to help you identify the crucial data points every childcare business should be tracking for their financial stability, for the efficient marketing, superior customer service, effective management, and streamlined office operations. I'm also going to give real life scenarios because I understand that, like, we can talk about numbers and sometimes that can be in really black and white. But when we bring it down to how does this really apply, how to apply these data driven decision making through real life examples and really kind of break it down, it just makes it more realistic. So I get it. Again, when I started my childcare business, I'm back in 2005. The only numbers that I really was caring about is the numbers I was teaching to the kids. So any other numbers was just kind of like beyond me. I really got into it because I love lesson planning. And so looking at things in a data driven way was just not on my radar at the time. And then we're also obviously you're gonna learn about the tools like Playground that can help manage data efficiently and reduce administrative burdens and enhance overall work-life balance for you guys. So that's what we're gonna cover today. If you're new to me, my name is Ashley Ben. So I am a former owner of a six-figure licensed childcare center. I did that for 10 years. I'm the founder and CEO of Childcare Executive Tools, and I've been actually running my online coaching and consulting business for childcare owners since 2016. Some of y'all may know me from YouTube. So I do have a YouTube channel where I create valuable content for childcare owners and directors in the ECE space. I have about 22,000 subscribers over there, and so a lot of people know me directly from the YouTubes. I am known for helping hundreds of aspiring owners to launch or expand your childcare business, and then my expertise and just really where I do geek out at is in automated operation efficiencies for early childhood education businesses. So that is like my space where I go into a zone and I am just gone for days when it comes to automation and operations and data and all those things. And I didn't add this on here, but just for the fun of it, I live in Bowling Green, Kentucky, which is 45 minutes north of Nashville, Tennessee, and I'm 2 hours away of Louisville. We say Louisville here, not Louisville, but it's Louisville. And so anyway, that's a little bit about me. So super excited to be here and super excited to dive into today's topic. Now, the one thing that I do always, Benny, can you see this little screen thing, or is this in the way?
No, we can. I just see your slides. Yep.
Okay, perfect. Okay, so the one thing that I always like for me, so I'm a very visual person. And when I was running my childcare business, we always hear this saying in business, you want to run your business like a well-oiled machine. So for some reason, a car always came to mind for me. And so when it comes to running it like a well-oiled machine, you kind of have to run it just like you would, or treat your childcare business and just kind of get in the mind like it's a car, right? And so if I know that if I make sure I put gas in my car, and make sure that I take it to get it serviced or whatever the case is there, it is going to get me directly to my child care center every single day, right? Like I'm not going to have any issues arriving and getting there on time or whenever I need to be there. And so you want your child care business to operate like a machine. And if you think of it like a car, it has a lot of moving parts and pieces. And so your job as the owner and director is to make sure that all of these pieces and parts are functioning, and that they're operating in the most efficient way. So that's just a way that I always kind of like, just for me, it always helped me out. So I always like to share that with you guys. And so the other piece that I would always do, and that I do when I'm working with my clients and students, is you need to divide your center or program into these six main departments and attach relevant data points to each of them. And so this approach it provides a significant mindset shift, making the management of your center much easier and more efficient. So again, I'm very visual, and I don't even know where this came to me, but one day I was just like, this, like, stuff is just all over the place, right? I just felt like that again, there's a lot of moving parts and pieces. There's a lot of things going on. But here is the one thing you have to take away from this. I don't care what business that you run, okay? Every business has departments. So I know that we always like to look at that as like, big Fortune 500 companies with departments, or, we look at Walmart. You go into Walmart, you've got the food department, the grocery department, you got all these departments, you got customer service and all that. And I don't care. But even if you're running a lemonade stand, a lemonade stand has accounting and budgeting. You got to market and advertise that lemonade stand. You've got to have some team things going on. You got to be managing whoever's going to be helping you with that. It has customer service. If somebody didn't like their lemonade, you've got to deal with that stuff. And then we also have the back end of the lemonade stand, which is office organization and the procedures. And so you've got to really think of your childcare business or your program, if you're directing it, in this way. And I'm telling you, if you really break it down into departments and then really apply data points to each, you're going to find it's going to be so much easier to manage, and it's going to be so much easier to optimize your operation. So, like I said, that just always helped me whenever I was running my center, when I'm working, like I said, with others. Okay, so grab your phones out and go ahead and scan this QR code. And what I have created for you guys is I've created my operations efficiency benchmark checklist. All the numbers I'm going to be giving you guys today and all the key data points is going to be in this checklist. So all you've got to do is just scan that QR code. It's going to take you over to just putting your information there, and then you're going to be able to access this. So that way you don't have to, if you're taking notes, well, actually, I want you to take notes. So, but just in case, if you're watching this at a time where you can't take notes, then I've got this already ready for you. So that is there. And we're going to hop right in. Okay, so the very first data point that we want to look at are data points to track. And we're going to start in our department one, which is your accounting and budgeting. This is the most, in my opinion, one of the most important. The other important department is going to be your marketing and advertising. But right here, we're going to start with this. So your profit margin target you should be hitting at least 20 to 25% when it comes to your profit margins. Now, obviously, why does this matter when it comes to hitting that target? Is because it indicates that the financial health of your center by measuring your profitability. So in our industry, usually about 20% is where you want to be at. If you can get it 25%, that is even better. But your target for your profit margin should be in this specific area here. Now, your expense ratio, your target for your expenses should be, you want to devote 70% to payroll and 5% to operating expenses. And this matters because obviously it ensures you are managing and operating your costs effectively. So again, when I was running my center, I did not look at any of this stuff. I mean, I was just like I was more lesson planning and working with the kids and the parents. And then obviously, business kind of slapped me in the face pretty hard. I'm a first time business owner. Nobody in my family has ever ran a business. So these numbers were just beyond me. But when I actually started to look at my business in this way, it just really, like I said, it just opened up a lot of things for me, and it just really made things really in black and white. Again, numbers tell a story. So that's 70% towards your payroll, 5% towards operating. And then if we're hitting that 20 to 25%, that should give us about 100%. Now, somebody will always say, well, Ashley, listen, there is no way on God's green earth that I can have my payroll at 70%. And I get it, right? Realistically speaking, you might need to kind of go 75%. Some people are at 80%. But the goal here is to get a ratio down to where you are at least targeting 20 to 25%. And so again, let's say that you're not at that number. Let's say that right now you're at 90% payroll costs, and that only leaves you at 10% for operating in target. Well, then this again, here we go. This is giving you this information that you need, already indicating that we need to change some things in the program. Something is off and we need to fix it, right? So whether we need to go up on prices, or whether we need to find some way to cut costs in payroll, or operating expenses is usually the area that I love to go into, because a lot of times I see owners with subscriptions that they're not even using, and things like that. So again, I hope this is kind of like opening up the fact that this stuff really does help you. Revenue per child, your target, you want to be at $1,000 to $1,500 per child per month. And this matters because it helps in your pricing strategy and maintaining that sustainable income. And so these are the key data points that you want to be tracking in your financial department or that accounting and budgeting area. And so a scenario to this, okay, let's bring this down into a real life scenario. So you notice your monthly expenses are creeping up. Now, let me just say this. The only way that you're going to notice that is that you're looking at that before that happens. So you don't want to be waiting until, you get your bank statement, and then you're realizing, oh my goodness, how I didn't realize that we spent X amount of dollars in operating expenses last month. And now, I've got to make some changes. So again, you notice that, and the way that you're going to notice that is you're going to be looking at that either on a weekly basis or whatever. But let's say you notice that they're creeping up, right? Let's say that, every week you're looking at your numbers, they're creeping up. And so by tracking your cash flow and your expenses, you identify areas where you can cut costs, such as negotiating better rates with suppliers or things like that. So again, these are the key data points to track for your accounting and budgeting. All right, so let's move on to the next one, which is marketing and advertising. These, in my personal opinion, beyond the customer service aspect, because here's what I always say. Listen, y'all got customer service down. You've got quality and, making sure you've got your lesson. We all got, like, those things comes natural to us, right? Lesson planning, working with the families, all that comes natural. What doesn't come natural for me, and I know for a lot of owners, is this stuff. Okay. It's the data, it's the numbers. So the next thing that I think is the most important is your marketing and advertising and knowing where this is going. Because again, you can have great numbers. You can maybe be great in your financial aspect of it, right? We can be making the money, but if we're not bringing in the enrollments and we're not having that enrollment growth, then there's eventually you're going to run out of money to even track and to even budget and things like that. So I feel like that the financial side of it and the marketing kind of go hand in hand. Your enrollment growth rate needs to be targeted at a 10 to 15% annually. So what this means is that every year, when you go look at how your enrollment was for the year, you should see at least a 10 to 15% growth rate of enrollment. And this matters because it measures the effectiveness of your marketing campaigns. A lot of owners and directors are we market, we have different ways that we market, but no one is looking at, is this specific marketing effort working for me, right? Is the print ads that I'm mailing out to homes in the area, is it actually working for me? And so when we are looking at the marketing, you need to understand what efforts are working and what's not. And we want to double down on what is actually working. And really, just if it's not working, we need to get rid of it because we're spending dollars no matter what it is. So 10 to 15% annually there. Cost per lead, your target, you want to have at least $10 to $20 per lead. This is if you're running Facebook ads, and I recommend everybody to be doing some paid advertisement. I like Facebook ads, but you want to do your target for this is $10 to $20 per lead. So what this means is that it costs you $20 to get in a lead. Okay, and this is the average for running Facebook ads. And this ensures that ensures efficient spending on your marketing efforts. Again, you guys, if you're going to be spending anything in marketing, whether that's money or time, make sure that it makes sense and that it's working for you. Your conversion rate, okay? So your conversion rate, your target, you need to be hitting at least 25 to 35% conversion rate. And this helps you to assess, or this ensures how well leads are converting into enrollment. So again, we're putting all this effort out here to attract leads, to bring families into our program, to do facility tours. And if we're not converting them, then we need to know why. And so a lot of times in a marketing, and I'm getting ready to get really, here I'm getting ready to geek out. But when we're looking at a marketing funnel, the things that we need to be looking at is where inside of the funnel are people dropping off? Where are families dropping off, right? If I have an ad out there and they're not taken to the ad, then that lets me know I need to change I need to change what I'm advertising, or whatever that it is that I have going on out there. And so this is what I love about the key tracking these points. It's because if you have a facility, let's say you've got a tour coming in, or let's say you have had several tours, families touring, and they're not staying. Okay. So what this means is that your marketing efforts were able to bring them in the door, but for some reason, there is something in your tour process that's not converting them. And so this would be the area that we want to go into and dive deeper into. So hopefully that makes sense. But this is the reason why, and this is what makes it a whole lot easier when you have the data, because you can just look at the numbers. And then from there, you can go and say, okay, this is what the area is. A lot of times, owners don't have numbers, directors don't have numbers to look at. And so what we're doing is we do notice that the facility, we notice that our enrollment is down, but we don't know in what part of the marketing funnel is causing the issue, where the issue is, right? Remember, think of it like a car. So you are like a mechanic in a way to your childcare business. You've got to figure out what is the area that's causing the issues, and that's where you want to spend your energy in trying to fix. Okay.
Actually, if I can just hop in for a second, I do want to comment because
Yeah.
I know people in the past have asked, how do I actually track the data? And I think a lot of people often will still manage their program on pen and paper and do a lot of their, operations on pen and paper. And that really is where we at Playground are focused in on really giving that data, making it available to you. And the benefit of going off of pen and paper is huge, because first you're able to have an organized way to manage all of your systems and all of your operations, but then you can do this more complex analysis on what's my average cost per lead, how many families are converting from prospects into customers, how much am I growing, how much space do I have to grow. It's a lot of that very high level data that is often tougher to just pull out of your head. That's where systems and softwares will come in to allow you and empower you to look at your numbers from an objective viewpoint every quarter or every half, however often you review, and understand the health of your business, be it your first department 2 on marketing and advertising, or on your profit margins, etc. So really just having that data available is I think one of the most crucial parts and essential to all of this.
Yes, absolutely. And this is why, so Playground, you guys, is, I'm always impressed with what Playground does. And so, yes, Benny is so right. Like, you have to be able to have somewhere to go to pull these numbers. And if you can, the quicker that you can pull them, the easier it's going to be for you to go in and then create solutions for your childcare business. So absolutely. Yes. And then the pen and paper aspect of it too. I totally agree with that. It's like, we got to get way beyond that. Like, especially if you're trying to optimize your operations, like if pen and paper, you just get rid of it totally. And Playground obviously can help you do that for sure. So that's why I love working and partnering with Playground and Benny and his team there. So absolutely. Thank you, Benny, for that.
Yeah.
Okay, so let's move to customer service and program quality. And this is going to be your department three. And so the key data points that we want to track here is obviously you have to have a parent satisfaction score, right? Like, so here's the deal. Um, when I was running my center, right, I always knew that like families, liked me and that they enjoyed my services. But sometimes there are things that families want you to do better at, or there's things that they may not necessarily want to tell you. Sometimes people are, they're shy about that or things like that. And it may not be anything major, but it just be something they're like, you know what? It would be so more convenient if you did X, Y, and Z. So you need to have an 85% or higher parent satisfaction score, which means that what you're doing there is you're getting surveys, right? And this is going to measure how happy parents are with your services. And a lot of times, again, you don't really know what families really want from you unless you ask them in a survey form. Because again, people sometimes are just not going to tell you blunt out. You know what I'm saying? So your target there is going to be 85% or higher. Retention rate, we want to be 90% or higher on retention. So meaning that we are keeping these families satisfied. Not only are they happy, but they're staying with us. And this indicates the loyalty of your families and overall satisfaction. And then the referral rate, we want to have at least a 25% or higher referral rate. That's your target for that. And this matters because it demonstrates customer satisfaction and word of mouth success. Even with that referral rate, this even goes beyond like um families in a way. So you can have other companies that you partner with, or your bank, for example, or we used a company here locally called Wacky Signs, and any kind of signs that we wanted to be made, they would do our signs for us, and they would refer families that they would run into to our program. So the referral rate can even go beyond, I guess what I'm saying, beyond your current families. But the main goal here is that you're having surveys sent out, and those data points are coming into you, and then you're able to pinpoint if there are any issues in that customer service or the program quality. And when I talk about program quality, that does go into your curriculum and those things as well. So an example of that is, this is one that's really major in childcare programs, but let's say there's been a series of communication or miscommunications between the childcare center and the parents. And so several parents, maybe they've complained that they were not informed about recent changes in the daily schedule, leading to confusion and frustration. And so again, you may have that parent to say, you know what, we would love to be able to have you to, if you can fill out this form here and just really give us some feedback on that. And again, just really understanding where they are, but having these data points to track is going to make it really easy for you to, I guess, in a way, like understand what's not being said in your program, or the things that parents may not be revealing to you. So, um, okay, the next one is going to be your management and leadership. And so this is where we get into, all things staffing and all. This is one of the other crucial parts of running your childcare business. This is department 4. Now, there were so many different key data points that we could track, but these are the top 3 that I'm going to recommend for you to track. Okay. The first one is going to be, how long does it take you to fill in a position when someone calls out? Now, your target should be about an hour and a half. Okay. This matters because a quick response times ensures that the center maintains proper staffing levels. We know we got to keep those staff to ratios. And that is actually a job requirement. And when we're not in ratio, you're technically, in a way, we are not in compliance with regulations, which means we're technically kind of breaking law. That's the way I always looked at it for myself. And so we want to make sure that, the center maintains proper staffing levels. It minimizes disruption, and it maintains the quality of care for children. And so I will never forget this, but I had the issue as well. And it was so bad that it seemed like our call-in day was Mondays. Mondays was it. I don't know what it is. People over the weekends, I never understood Mondays, but Mondays was our calling days. And so we actually implemented an in-house sub program. This is one of my trainings that I teach to people I work with. And the reason why I did that is because I would work with third-party companies and things like that locally. It just didn't work. They either didn't understand the industry or it just didn't work for us. So we actually created an in-house sub program, and that obviously allowed us to fill those positions during if somebody called out, and we were able to get back on schedule. But I hate it when that happened, because when that does happen, the whole day is messed up, right? It's like it takes a lot of time to try to fill in a position. And then the kids are all, it's a hot mess express, and y'all know what I'm saying, so I don't have to go over that with y'all. But anyway, we want to be able to do that though. And so you want to try to do that within that 1.5 hour so that we can get things back on track and the day then kind of goes smoothly. Staff turnover rate. Your target should be less than 15% annually. And obviously, this helps to in maintaining stability and reducing those hiring costs. Again, we're tracking these numbers at the end of the year. What was our staff turnover rate for this year? And if it was over that 15% annually, then we need to figure out what's going on. Why are staff leaving us? What's happening and things like that. And one of the amazing ways to be able to do that, right, to be able to make sure that you stay under that 15% annually, is to, give out again surveys to your staff. You want an employee satisfaction score, you want to target at least 80% or higher. And this matters because it ensures high job satisfaction and staff retention. And so, again, these numbers help you to, when something gets off and you're able to, like Benny said, to go into a software like Playground, and the data is just right there in front of your face. And you can literally see these numbers. You can see what numbers are hitting on target, what's declining. These are the areas that you can go into and be able to be proactive instead of reactive. And I think that is one thing that data does for you. It allows you to be proactive, to be able to see things before they happen so that you can then go in and optimize your operations appropriately. Okay. So the last one, or we're almost done, but well, the next to the last one. But Department 5 now is going to be your office organization and your procedures. Now, when I mean procedures, I focus first on SOPs in the office, and then we get out into the other part. But right now, I want your mind to go into your office, wherever that is. Okay. You might be sitting in your office right now. And the target that you want for paperless, because anybody that knows me knows I promote all things paperless. And I know, okay, I have worked with several owners. I already know if I come to you in your desk right now and it's got a lot of papers on it, that automatically tells me that there are some organization areas in your office that needs to be optimized. So for your office, 90 to 95% should be paperless, guys. Okay. And I know that there's somebody telling me, Ashley, and if you're new to me, you're probably saying this lady is absolutely crazy. But 90 to 95% needs to be paperless. Now, why does this matter? Well, it promotes efficiency, it promotes compliance and ease of access while significantly reducing physical storage needs and minimizing the risk of lost paperwork. I'll give you guys this really quick story. So there was another local childcare owner that, that was one of my, we were friends or whatnot. And so this was in the time when I started my center. We went paperless about 2 years in. So I started back in 2005. So again, a lot of paperless things wasn't really, relevant back then. But I was just like, this is not working for me. My husband obviously helped me a lot, so I'm going to give him credit where credit's due. Right, my husband did help me with it. But we started to basically streamline all of our paperwork so that it was really digital. And I will never forget this, but I had the owner called me and she was like, Ashley, so there was a child that was enrolled with me. They end up unenrolling and moved to her center. And so when they moved, I forget what it was. I think she was needing it was some sort of a form. I can't, if it was a background check, I don't know what it was. Anyway, this family I think they went to her too as well. So it's kind of like one of these, it's a family that kind of hopped around. Anyway, long story short, she called me. She was like, Ashley, I need this document. Do you have it? Like, I cannot find it. She's like, she said, well, I know where it's at, but it's in my attic. So she's like, I don't feel like going up there to look at all the papers. And I was like, oh, absolutely. Like, I got it for you right now. I mean, 5 minutes I had it. I was able to go to um, my paperless system and send it directly to her via email, and she had what she needed. We can move on with the day. But when she said that, I was like, oh my goodness, like, you've got to go into your attic to pull a document or a piece of paper for a child that was like, so anyway, I always share that story because believe it or not, some owners are still having to go in their attics to pull papers, okay, out. Guys, we are in 2024. We are in the era of AI paperless. And you see me harping about this because it's just one that just it is my pet peeve. Okay. So but 90 to 95% now, not obviously we can't do 100% because there are, a lot of states haven't gone 100% right with paperless. Their offices are not paperless. So I understand that licensing is going to want some hard copies of things, but the more that you can do with your paperless office system, or going paperless, is going to be so much better for you. Okay, now the next big one in your office operations and procedures is how much you delegate, guys. Okay, I get it. I know I'm the same way. I'm a control freak. I like to do everything in myself. However, doing it all will keep you small. Okay, that's one of my favorite quotes when I'm talking about delegation. So I need for you guys to be delegating at an 85% or higher. This means that all of your repetitive, tasks that you do, admin tasks, are delegated. Now, this measures the effectiveness of assigning tasks. High efficiency in task delegation leads to better workload distribution, increased productivity, and a more organized office environment. So if you are not delegating and you're not doing that, at least 85% of your repetitive admin tasks are not delegated, I need for you we got to work on that. Okay. I am a firm believer that when you are in an admin role, you actually serve your childcare business and your program much better when you are able to not be the bottleneck of everything. Okay. So, anyway, to literally go, I could have a training just solely on delegation. So who knows, maybe I need to pull one out, but 85% or higher. Okay. You got to get used to delegating. It's okay. Nobody's going to do it all the way that you do it. That's okay. But I want a lot of the admin work to be put off of you so that you can actually do what you do best, which is, providing the quality care and being the brains behind everything, if that makes sense. Okay. Now, the next piece of this is automation implementation rate. Every owner and director should have automation implementation. How much are you automating? And so when we talk about the delegation, with delegation right now, you can delegate a lot of things, on automated things. Playground is an amazing software to delegate, some of these repetitive things that you're doing. You can delegate it directly, onto Playground. Say, hey, give it to Playground. Say, hey, take this thing, right? So, target 50% or higher. Okay. And let me just say this. I am a firm believer that, right now, I feel like that we are in not the early stages, but in some ways we are, like, society is in the early stages of AI. But I believe that this 50% or higher, eventually we will be able to even up that more, especially in the admin space and things like that. And so why is automation implementation important? Because it increases operational efficiency by reducing manual errors. Anytime you've got a human being on something, there will be manual errors. Okay. We're all human. It frees up staff time for more critical tasks that they could be doing. And automating repetitive processes ensures consistency and improves overall productivity. So again, I am a big believer on automation and really streamlining your processes and things like that. And again, all of these things I'm going over with you, this is how you're going to optimize those operations. um okay, so just a little scenario: paperwork is taking too long to process, guys. You are staying late in the evenings trying to process paperwork. And so by digitizing records and streamlining your procedures, you make office work faster and it makes it more efficient. You guys should not, I believe that if you really dig into your program and optimize it using automation, you are going this 50 plus hours a week that I know I worked as well. A lot of owners are working those hours. A lot of directors are taking stuff home. You're going to be able to reduce your working hours so that you can have a better work-life balance. Okay. So, and that leads me directly into my favorite, which is work-life balance. When I ran my center, okay, I worked 50 plus hours a week. Now, granted, when I started, I was 21. I am 41 now. So that was like what, 20 years ago. But I was 21 when I started, was not married, had no kids. Okay. Working 50 plus hours a week, that works at 21. When I, got married and, we had our daughter, I cannot do 50 plus hours a week. There is no way that I can work 50 plus hours a week. So work-life balance is so important in so many different ways. And I always say this: you are your program's biggest asset. You are, okay? You are the ones that's behind everything that happens. You know that. And so if you're not taking care of yourself, how can you really say that you're taking care of the children and families in your community efficiently? Okay. So you're doing them a disservice when you don't take care of you. So you should be targeting. Okay. And this is owners. Directors might be a little bit different. Obviously, directors is going to be based off of what your owner is wanting. But for my owners, I need for you guys to target between 20 to 30 hours per week. And this ensures a healthy work-life balance. Your time off and vacation days, your target should be quarterly time off. That means you are taking time off 4 times a year. Now, listen, this doesn't mean that you're taking some wild vacation 4 times a year. That you may not, everybody has a different versions of self-care. But every quarter, let's just say like around Memorial Day, right? Let's say that instead of you taking a 3-day weekend, maybe you take that Thursday and Friday off. So you're taking Thursday, Friday, Sunday, and Monday. So, but 4 times a year, guys, I'm serious. Like, you need it. You need the time. You need time to go to doctor's appointments. You need time to spend time with your own children, your own families. And so this ensures rest and recovery for sustained performance, guys. You are a business owner. And I always say that right now I'm into the Olympics. Okay. I don't know if anybody's watching the Olympics. The gymnastics is like I love the gymnastics and the swimming. They are performers. They have to get out and perform. When they get out on, on that stage to do the gymnastics, they have to perform. For them to do that, they have to also rest. They have to eat well. They have to go to the doctors. They got to take care of themselves. Guys, every time that you go into your center every day, you have to perform for these children and families. And you can't do that if you're barely taking any time off or barely having any time for yourself. Okay. The other key data point to track is stress and burnt out levels. Everybody's levels are different, right? Some people have a higher stress tolerance than others. But for you, you need to figure out, less than 20%, that, hey, 20% of the time I'm stressed. The other time I'm cool as a cucumber. And that's going to be, again, based off of your level. But less than 20% high stress or burnout should be less than 20%. Meaning, and the way that I would look at this is like, okay, maybe 2 days out of the month is like really stressful, right? But the other days out of the month are great. And I get it. Like the business we have, the industry, it's very high pace, it's all the things. But you set that for you and just say, hey, this would be 20% burnout for me, okay? And this matters because it maintains a healthy working environment. And just making sure, even for your staff, we want to make sure, not only for you, but everybody needs to have this. And so I'm a firm believer that all programs should be promoting work-life balance, not only for you as an owner or director, but for your staff as well. So, again, you're feeling overwhelmed and working long hours. And so by analyzing weekly hours worked and burnout levels, you're able to analyze when these target areas are approaching. I do this even today. So there is a software that I use. It's very simple. It's called Toggle. It's free. And anytime I'm working, I sit down and I make sure to toggle my time, because even I know that a lot of times I will feel like I know that I need to take a break. But when I look at that number and it tells me how many hours I put in over a week, and I'm already hit it at 40 or 45 or 50 hours, I already know. Okay, Ashley, even though you feel like you're doing okay, but the hours that you're working, you're getting ready to burn yourself out really quick. So anyway, love this part of it. And again, this is something you've got to do. You are your center and program's biggest asset. So please take care of yourself, guys. Okay, again, if you have not downloaded the checklist, here is the QR code again for anyone that might not have gotten this. All the numbers that I just went over, all the key data points are here, and you can access that by grabbing or scanning that QR code there. Now, there's a lot of softwares that I love. Okay, and let me just say this, because like I said, I geek out on stuff. I have to be careful of what I call shiny object syndrome. Because like I'll see this software and I'm like, oh my goodness, let me try that one out. Or I'll see this one, I'll see that one. But Monday.com is one software I'm going to highly recommend. This is going to help you with project management. And this is going to just help you with like managing all the things. So it's like it's my go-to. My team is virtual. And so that's where we come to. And then I've had owners to use this. It's just a great way to delegate. It's really great for delegating things like that. So there is a QR code for there. Bamboo HR is another great software that I would highly recommend for streamlining your HR process and things of that nature. And then obviously Playground, like literally, I mean, Playground is like literally you can just pull up Playground. That's all you pull up for the day, and that's it. And I'm a big fan of not having a lot of tabs up as well, because when we have a lot of tabs up, that signals what's going on in our brain. And so Playground is obviously going to help you be able to pull in these key data points, have them at your fingertips, and then be able to make data-driven decisions and optimize your operations. Okay, so I hope this wasn't too much for everybody. Again, I love all this stuff. I geek out, but I know some people may say this is super boring. So, but I'm telling you, if you look at data, you will find it's not boring at all. But it really, like I said, it does it tells you a story. It tells you what's going on, what's happened in the past. It'll tell you what's happening right now at your childcare business or program. And it's also going to let you know what's getting ready to come in the future. So again, you can be proactive instead of reactive. So that is all I have, Benny. If you guys want to work with me or anyway, here's all my information here. There's a QR code to my website. And I would love to be able to connect with you guys and help you in any way that I can. So
awesome. Thank you so much, Ashley. That was an incredible session. A lot of really, really awesome data points to focus on. And I'm sure people took a lot from that. If anyone has any questions, you can go ahead and send it to the chat. We can go ahead and unmute you as well if you want to ask questions live. And we will also be sending this recording out over email. So if there's anything you missed, you want to rewatch, you can totally do that. I have a question. So on one of the points you discussed on work-life balance and those sort of things, some of those things are not necessarily trackable on software or pen and paper. How do you go about gauging those more qualitative data points?
So like I said, one of the things that I absolutely love, and with the work-life balance piece of it, so Toggle like I said, it's a free software, but that can really help track your time, and just being able to see how many hours how many hours have I worked for the week, but what am I working on? That's also important as well, because what we're working on needs to be You know, we always say we need to be working on the business and not in the business. So that's one that will give you a key data point. And then as far as that, well, you know, obviously the quarterly, you know, when's the last time that you had a vacation? You know, so even sometimes it's just could be something as simple as that. Like, when's the last time I went on vacation? So if the last time I went on vacation was like 2 years ago, or, you know, had some time off, then there is a key data point right there that you can just say, oh my goodness, like the last time we did anything family wise and took my kids to whatever, you know, it's been X amount of times ago. Does that answer your question? Am I
Yeah, it does.
okay?
I'm sure there's plenty more things that are very like experience-based, family satisfaction. I know you said the provider score and that sort of stuff. You said, I think you had said surveys, sending out surveys to your families as well would be useful there.
Absolutely. Surveys are amazing. And what I love to do, so whenever I'm setting up or helping a student owner client set up um, a family, like when a family enrolls, so like onboarding a family, I love to have something set up to where maybe an email goes out or a text message goes out, and maybe it's like the first week that they've been there, that goes out, and then it asks for that survey or asks for, you know, that satisfaction. So maybe it's like, you know, every quarter, maybe these are going out. These are all automated, so you're not having to think about these in the back end, but you're still able to get that information coming into your center. Yeah.
That's awesome. And for those who are curious, you can also send out those messages to families, either new families or families in your program through Playground, for example, and just send them a little survey saying, hey, answer these 5 questions, and that'll just pop up on their phone. It's an easy way for you to gauge those responses. And it's very qualitative, but there's still data there to be tracked. So super, super awesome stuff.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. So,
For
anybody have
those
any
who
questions?
For those who haven't seen Ashley's work in the past, I recommend you check out her YouTube or any of her accounts. She has awesome, awesome content for ECE business owners on how to automate and digitize and just run more efficiently. So really cool stuff. Victoria, you're asking if a Playground holds surveys? Yes, Playground will hold the surveys for you. And that's essentially, it allows you to just ask questions to your families and you're able to accept all that information directly in your account. Similar to like a
Yeah,
Google form, essentially.
yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. And there is a video that I did. Playground actually sponsored it, so you guys have to go check that out because I really like lay that out too. So absolutely, yeah.
Wonderful. Well, thank you very much, everybody, for joining. Thank you, Ashley, for presenting. Really appreciate all your awesome insights. And looking forward to the next one, hopefully soon.
Yeah, absolutely. Thank you all for joining. And if there's anything I can do for you, just let me know. Thanks,
Thanks,
Benny.
everybody. Take care.